Hi everyone, it's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to day 13 of Dephemerember. I think I said it right. Yay! Anyway, as I'm sitting here, I wanted to say a few things before I start. First, I wanted to thank all the new people who have subscribed to my channel and been commenting. This has been such an amazing opportunity to meet new people through this challenge, and I want to thank Barbara and Louisa for that. I also wanted to mention that I am very excited about this challenge today. I had started to fall behind, as we do, because the holidays are so busy and we have parties and family obligations and we're trying to prepare. And I was finding less and less time to get to my desk. And when I would work at my desk, I'd make a ginormous mess. And I think you guys saw at the beginning, if you saw my first video, how I was preparing for this with boxes sorted for ephemera. And as I was adding things to the boxes the other night, I thought, why don't I take some of the items for these challenges and clip them together with paper clips so that if I do get a chance to sit at the desk, I already have things kind of sorted. So as I'm using things and going through things, I'm putting the number of the prompt in there. I'm not fully preparing, but like when I opened this envelope the other day, it clearly would go with sparkle. So I already have 15 written on there. So will I do every prompt every day? I don't know, but I already have these clips going with items, and it's going to make my life so much easier. So having said that, I already had things clipped for number 13, and they come from one of my favorite materials to work with, which is vintage magazines. Now, in October, I did something called the Book Harvest Challenge, or it was the Harvest Book Challenge. I can't even remember. It was my own challenge. Anyhow, it's this exercise that I do all the time, especially when my mojo is a little bit off. And I take a book or a magazine and I go in with a pair of scissors and I start fussy cutting and ripping pages out and fussy cutting things that I think I could use in upcoming projects and collages. I find words, I find parts of images, and then I can get rid of the stack of magazines, or I can get rid of the book that takes room on my space. And I have little shoe boxes labeled for things that I harvest. And I started doing that with Christmas magazines, probably late November. And I clipped these wonderful treats that are for the Christmas table. I think that's panucci fudge, and this is fudge, and these are bonbons, which I used to make with my mom all the time. I loved the vintage feel of the colors, and of course that candy dish is so 1960s. And I thought this is definitely going to go on my belly band. I already have an idea for it. So that's what we're going to jump into today. And I actually have a cute little idea that I'm really super excited about. I hope you're going to really enjoy it because I think it's really fun. And as you know, everybody's doing this challenge differently, and I am really trying to stick to making just pieces of standalone ephemera. So a belly band was a little bit tricky to think about. How can I make a belly band standalone? But I have this really cute idea, I think, and I hope you're going to enjoy watching it. So I want to talk first about vintage magazines. They're amazing, like so amazing. If you can get your hands on some, the images are terrific. The patina of the pages are great. The graphics are great. The words are great. There's like a faded kind of look to the colors, and I just love them. I mean, look at that right there. It's so fabulous, isn't it? The font and the colors, and it's just so vintagey. So I absolutely love working with vintage magazines. Now, don't get dissuaded if you get some that kind of smell a little. They're magazines. People keep them in their basements. They're not the best paper, so they absorb smells sometime. And while I don't think you can get rid of smoke very easily, you can get rid of that mildew smell quite easily. Look at this picture. How cute would these be to fussy cut, right? So if you get your hands on some magazines and they have that sort of mildewy smell from the basement, or that old paper smell that kind of crosses the line from, ooh, I love that old paper smell, to, ooh, that's stinky, then my suggestion is you can take one of these magazines and you can take a big Ziploc bag. I put about 1/4 cup of baking soda in it. I seal the top and I put it in the freezer for 2 or 3 days. And you can leave it in longer or shorter depending on how strong the smell is. And usually that fixes it up. Another thing you can do is take newspaper, fresh newspaper, something you just purchased, wrap it in the newspaper, put the baking soda in there, and just leave it in a bag sealed somewhere for a couple of weeks, somewhere dry. And that too also pulls out the moisture, and the newspaper that's wrapped around your magazine will absorb it. And this works for other papers too, not just magazines, but I can tell you that it works really good. So I cut these little images from a magazine like this. I can't remember which one it actually was. And that has become the inspiration for this challenge. My thought was, how cute would it be if I made a standalone piece of ephemera that was centered around holiday food gifts and included recipes, and could be included with a food gift that maybe you give to a neighbor or somebody at the office, just to make it that little extra touch for a gift. So that was my jumping off point. Then I went to my personal Christmas journal that I made about my childhood. I will link that below. When I made this book, I made it out of a Betty Crocker binder, not a new idea, something a lot of people do. I have clay tags on it. I have just a bunch of stuff in here that we won't go into right now, but I have a section just for food, if I can find it. It's a big journal, people. Here it is, Christmas recipes and food. And in there, I have my family recipes from my mom and from my childhood, and I have them tucked. I took the recipe out of here to use today. I journaled a lot about the food and what it meant to me as a child in this journal, but I pulled actual recipes from my childhood and put them and took them out. Now, if you were a child of the 70s like I am, magazine recipes were a huge influence on women for new ideas for the holiday, and they were their version of Pinterest. And chow mein noodles from La Choy were kind of a new thing in the 60s and 70s, and my mom used to make these cookies all the time. And if you don't know what chow mein noodles are, they're kind of that hard, crunchy noodle that comes in a cardboard can that went with the La Choy already made meals in a can. And already made meals, sort of like convenience food, was such a huge thing in the 60s and the 70s. And yeah, if you know what I'm talking about, put it in the comments below. I don't know if it's just an American thing. Somebody my age would know what I'm talking about, but the younger people would not. I don't even know if they still make them, but I have such fond memories of these cookies. I have just a general cookie recipe that I chose because it's got, obviously my mom was cooking on it. It's got a little bit of like, she must have spilt something here. I love the patina. I love that she used an old index card. So I love that. And then these were my absolute favorite cookies growing up as a kid. It's my mom's name. It's in her handwriting, and I find that to be so special to me. And they actually did look like this. So that I just love. But I am not going to use my original recipes. They are going to go back into my book, safe and sound. But I did do the Lazy Girls digital and just put them on a copy machine. I do call these my Lazy Girl digitals. This one I overlap them a little bit because I don't know how I'm going to use it yet, but you can see it kind of does look like a digital. And then this one here is the actual cookies. So I have them spread out so I can cut them out. So my idea was, I have my cookie recipes. I wanted to pick a couple pieces of scrapbook paper. This is the back of the recipes. That looked like a little bit like a tablecloth. Now, I like the plaid, but I'm wondering if I would be better with some kind of digital that looks like a linen. Let me print that off because I've done that for myself, and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I don't know if many of you know. If you're new followers, you probably do not, but I have been buying vintage papers for 3 years now with the intent of scanning them and putting them in my shop, and I've only gotten a couple kits up. I did scan all my Christmas stuff this year, and I just didn't have time to get it ready, but next year I definitely will. But because I did scan them, I did have some of these Christmas textiles on file, and I printed some of those out, and I think those will work really well. These were actually hankies, but I think they do definitely have a vintage tablecloth feel. And I'm sure there are vintage linen digitals online, so it's not something that if I'm not offering, you can't find. And I hope to have my shop a lot more filled with digitals next year. So I think I really like the idea of this. So I am going to fussy cut these out so that I can use them. Okay, that's good enough. I don't need it to be perfect. I just need it to be able to be something that I can try on or audition, as they say. So I have this envelope. It's long. You know, it's pretty darn long. It is 9.5 inches long. So this will make a really nice belly band, and something that I could also be put in a journal, in a Christmas journal. And what I want to do is put the belly band across this envelope this way. I'm going to decorate it with these cool images, and then I think I cut out from a milk ad a milk carton that I thought went great with the food, and I'm going to do something different with that. So my thought is, let's first look at the idea of the tablecloth. This one will go all the way down, so that's very good. Let me cut it here then. And I think I also want maybe like a strip of plaid. I'm not sure. And then I would layer these on the belly band. I think that's going to be very cute. Okay, so let me cut a strip of plaid here, because I like that as the base of the belly band. I'm going to do one that's more red and one that's more white, and we will see how that looks. I don't know about you guys, but I have been loving these challenges. I love watching everyone's videos. Louisa she inspires me so much. Like, her mind works in such a creative, out-of-the-box way. And Barbara has such style, and it's just been really great to work on the same things and see how different everybody's mind works. That was probably my favorite part of teaching when I used to teach, was giving a art project and then seeing how everybody interpreted it, because that was just amazing to see everybody's take on something. So let's see, if I put this like trim, what I want to do is kind of make it look like a tablecloth on the edge of a table. So if I made this as like trim on the tablecloth, and then made these guys go in, that's cute. Let me try the red one, the one that's more red on for size. Just trying to get a color idea and try to see how these images look the best. I think it stands out more on the darker one, but it's a little wide if I want to do something sticking out. So I'm going to trim this down, and then I'm going to also do a better job of fussy cutting this now. And I think what I will do, because this is so thin, is glue this to something that's a little bit heavier, like a piece of cardstock, so that it can stand up to things being slid in and out. So I'm going to speed that up and maybe even just edit it down so that you don't have to watch me essentially cut, glue, and trim, because I think we all know how to do that, and it's not necessary. I want to save your time this holiday season. So here's our like little tablecloth edge, and what I have to decide is whether or not the plaid goes over. And I think I do. I think I want the plaid to go over that, so I need to glue that on. I use a piece of glass on top of my desk so that I don't have to worry about glue and paint getting on, but it's tough when it's a dark day like this because it does reflect a bit. So any reflections, I apologize for that. And I've centered it because I might want to fold those flaps over to make the belly band a little bit more sturdy. But I'm realizing that in order to be consistent with the bottom, before this dries, I need to cut across the top here. So I'm just going to mark that. I'm going to peel this away just a hair. And I'm going to cut this straight, or as straight as I think I can make it, so that it is bottom and top consistent. It might be a little over, but I can trim it after. So that is the basis of the belly band. Now it's all about layering these cute little pieces. Now, if this is the tablecloth, I do like things at an angle. I think we've established that. But I don't want them like too far off. That doesn't make sense to me. So I'm gonna, but I also, when I was harvesting these pieces, had enough wherewithal to actually take some of the recipes and keep them. So I think what I will do is have those sort of peeking out from behind. Let's see how that would look. And I like, you know, the color of the paper. The fudge would have to be sort of like that. Now, I don't see much of the tablecloth if I do that, so it might be more that I just cut pieces out a little bit. I want fudge to show. I feel like the color needs to be, the fudge needs to sort of be in the center though. Oh, I do kind of like that because I have the tablecloth on the bottom and I have some words there. Okay. I do probably need to know where the top and the bottom is, so I don't glue anything past that point. So let me fold this so that I know not to glue past that fold line. So I would need to have that there, this here, that there. I like this on top. And then I want the maple walnut fudge sort of peeking out like that. Oh, I like that. Okay, I'm not going to glue. Let me start in the middle with the maple walnut fudge. It's sort of like when you're writing something on a big board and you start without knowing where the parameters are, you start writing, and before you know it, the first half is like spaced out perfectly, and then the second half of the word is all like squinched together. I feel like that would happen here. So I'm going to try to go center with this maple walnut a bit so that, well, and here I go. I said that, but then the images are really important. So the image would have to be here. So that would have to be about there. Maybe just a hair lower. Hopefully I did that correctly. So the top one, I want to come, oh, and I don't have fudge on there, see? I say I'm doing it, and then I don't do it, so let's try that. All right, that fits better. All right. And I might rip a little bit more here so it's not so much on the tablecloth. I do want that word, but I don't necessarily need the tablecloth obscured. Okay, and then I'm going to glue this guy down. And I'm not going to glue the top and the bottom yet because I don't know if I'm going to slide anything else under there. I want that just a hair higher. And I want the maple walnut fudge to go sort of here. And again, I'm just going to do the middle first because I'm not 100% sure there isn't anything else I'm going to add. And then I need to add maybe another part of the recipe. Let me go. I want to glue down this delicate spot right there. There. Okay. I think I want to do pecan roll like that. So I need to tear this. What kind of treats did you make growing up? What were special to you and said Christmas to you? The bonbon cookies were a huge thing in my house. And they were really a simple dough, and inside we would put either in the center a cherry or a nut or a piece of chocolate. And then we had 3 different colors of royal icing, just like this up here. And I used to color code mine so that I could remember which ones had the chocolate in it because I hated the cherry. I didn't mind the nut, but I hated the cherry. So I would color code mine. Like I would not, or I would use something on top that I knew so that I could increase my chance of getting the filling that I wanted. And if my mom is watching, she's now knowing my secret. And why there were always less chocolate pieces afterwards when I was around. Although I do love maple walnuts, so, you know, it could, I honestly can say that I probably ate those just as much. So this goes this way. That's more centered. I think I'm going to have this one. I don't know if I want it the same direction or whether I want it more going up. I think I want it more the same direction. I think I'm going to pull it back just a hair. Oh, and the sun looks like it's coming out, which would be wonderful because it's been so dark and dreary and rainy and snowy and everything else. Okay, and maybe, I'm not sure if I want anything. So now I'm going to come in the back and I'm going to trim off anything that's overlapping. Like that. And I mean, you could stitch this if you wanted to add just a little extra something, you know, to make it a little bit more homespun, to feel a little bit more like it's a holiday table. I'm going to open the flap of the envelope. I guess it depends how you want it to open too. If it was in a journal, you might want it to open this way. So you need to be sort of cognizant of which way you want your project to open. It looks like that. And I might put a little, I think I want a little trim here. So let's put on some kind of, I could do lace. That would be very, that could be very holiday table. So you could, let me see how this looks. I could either do a lace on the end, or I could do some kind of washi tape, which would make it very flat. I think I like the lace, don't get me wrong. I really like the lace idea, but I think to make me happy, I would have needed to make this a little bit wider so that I didn't obscure any of the writing. And since I didn't make it that way, I really don't want, well, let me see what I think about this. I could use a smaller ribbon. I'm sure I do have some smaller ribbon. Does that have the same? You're screaming. I can hear you screaming. Oh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Let me see if I have a thinner ribbon, and then we'll try that on for size. Okay, I'm back, and I found a variety of smaller trims that might make a difference in my choice here. I have this one, but it sticks out a lot. It doesn't lay flat. So that one I'm gonna do a nix. That one doesn't pass the test. I have this one that looks a little bit like, reminds me a little bit of snowballs. That's kind of festive and cute. And if it was in a journal, you could hang a little charm off of it. That one's the same one. This one looks like it would lay flat very good. Let's see. Oh yeah, that one lays very flat. So that's in the running. Then I have some more simpler ones. Nope, I don't want the red. And then I found a gold. Which is very festive, but I think it will be hard to glue down. So I think I'm going to choose this one because it lays flat. It doesn't obscure a lot of the graphics, and it gives me that additional feeling of a tablecloth. It kind of makes me feel the same. Look at all these pins. I'm gonna have to make sure I don't lose them. All right, so let's stick that on the belly band. I'll need Fabri-Tac for that. I guess I should probably glue this down now. Don't think I'm gluing anything additional on it. All right, I'm going to let that set a minute, and I'm going to think about what our next step is. So I don't want to glue it on until this is completely set, but we can move on to another step. So I told you about my little milk container, which, where did my milk container go? You saw me put it somewhere, and you probably know better than I do. Is it layered in these papers? Nope. Oh, it's on the ground. So what I thought I was going to do was I would make a tag with the milk container that could kind of stick out and would kind of be a sweet way to say to the recipient to and from. And then on the inside, you could put your recipes or a letter or whatever it is you wanted. So I want this to be very plain. I want this to sort of have more of the print feel to it. So I need like a tag that is very cream colored. That's more what I have in mind. A vintage tag that goes with the feel of this and can be very simple because I don't want to take away from everything going on here. And something that the milk can stand out on. So this is set. So what I want to do is I want to now glue it. I want to glue it on so I can start working on the rest of this project. And I can trim off what I don't need. So I'm going to make sure to open the flap, make sure I have the envelope oriented the way I want it to. I don't think I want it 100% centered because I want the tag to be able to poke out a little bit. I want to make sure it's catching on the envelope. I can trim off everything that's extra. I'm extra. I'm totally extra, and I know that. Okay. We have our like little tablecloth with our little belly band that this would totally fill the challenge because it's magazine and belly band, but I am not finished yet. I want this milk to be able to stick out, or at least have this stick out and you can pull the milk out, which I think is super cute. I'm going to take some recipe. Let me see if I can go into that magazine. Oh, hold on. I have this little thing that says fruit cake on it, which would be cute down here. Or I can do more of something that is more of a recipe. Let me find that magazine I had. I can find a recipe. I know there are plenty in here. Look at all of these fabulous recipes. They're probably in the back. Now, I want something sweet. I don't want corned beef. fluffy filling and frosting. I like that kid though. I always have to look on what's on the other side, right? All right, so these are walnut wafers. I don't mind what's on here, so let's rip this out. Ooh, Swedish candy nuggets. Are they actually Swedish? I do not know. For those of you from Europe, does that sound like something that's authentic? I could put that like that. That's kind of cute. I like the line, how the line could go up. And this could go sideways. And I could pull. All right, I'm going to ink it. It's so hard to ink like very delicate papers. Don't you think? Sometimes you don't want to rip them. And this is so delicate. I'm actually going to glue the card, not the paper. This glue stick. I mustn't have put the cover on, which is totally me, and it is all goopy now. I can fold this over. Let me see if this glue stick's any better. Nope, that one's almost out. I clearly need new glue sticks. All right, there's a slippery one. I'll fold that over. Oh, I gotta ink it. Oh, there's not really any text on it, so I don't really know how interesting it is. The little milk guy right there. I think that's pretty cute. Just very simple. And I'm sure I could layer a lot more on top of this, really gild the lily, as it were. But I just feel like I want a lot of this. Oh, you know, I need to kind of ink this milk because he doesn't stand. Do you see how it doesn't really stand out? I think I'm just gonna slide the ink against it, just so it stands out a little bit more 3D. And on the back, I could actually add the little fruit cake like that. That's kind of cute. And this could be where you write to and from, you know, like I could write to, you know, my neighbor's name and then put my name or my family's name, you know. And then they could use it as a bookmark in a cookbook. Wouldn't that be cute? So you could actually write to and from, just like that. Very simple. And then that can slide in your belly band, and it could poke out both sides if you wanted. And you have a little, you could put a charm on there or bead. And then what I might do is cut out a couple of these recipes. I'm going to cut out the oatmeal peanut butter cookies, only because I love the stain on the recipe. It's very vintage. It is very vintage, I can guarantee you that. I am going to ink it. Because this recipe is not the most Christmassy, I am probably going to put some washi tape on it. And, you know, if you could find some really cute recipe cards that have Christmas images on them, how cute would those be to put in your... let's find something that goes. I don't want it to clash too much. I like this little polka dot. I think just a little bit of trim will go a long way on this. And I actually could take it across the back. Just kind of tucking, see how that kind of sticks out? It's just really cute. So I have my milk and I have my oatmeal cookies. I could make a red stripe on that side too, but I don't know, something about it. I love just having it on one side. I am so not symmetrical. That is just not me. I love things that are different on each side. And for you people with OCD that are screaming, put it on the other side right now. I will, just because I don't want to drive you crazy. But honestly, I would be perfectly happy with it just on one side. What about you? Are you like, would you have to do it on both sides? I'd love to hear. For me, I like just the pop of red on one side, but I just really feel like I would drive a lot of you crazy. In fact, on one of my other videos, one of my clay videos, I do a couple of things that are probably not very OCD friendly, and I've gotten complaints. So I guess you could stick it on both sides if you wanted the red to stick out on both sides. And then, see, I feel like that's too much red. I liked how plain it was, and now it sticks out too much. All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my OCD peeps. If I can get it off, it's coming off. I can hear you guys screaming at me right now. Like I really can. I can't help it. I like the plain. I actually might even trim it down just a hair, just so it's not quite as wide. I have to be me. You know, what can I say? It's just, I probably would drive a lot of you guys crazy. Put my book plates not quite in the center. And you could layer up your recipes as well. I like that. And then inside, let's just do a little bit on this side, even though I really don't want this to be a major thing. And we're already, you know, remember at the beginning when I said I would keep my videos to a half an hour? Oh boy, that ship has really sailed, hasn't it? There's really no chance of that. I can use my mom's recipe. Or maybe I want to use the chow mein cookie one, because if you didn't grow up in the 70s, that's probably like, what the heck? But I love her writing. My mom has beautiful writing. You know, I wonder if it even could fold over. Ooh, that's an interesting thought. Let me take my recipes out there. Again with the layering, right? And it wouldn't be too busy if I folded it where there was a lot of lines, like, If I folded it where it said cookies. Let's try that. Well, I want it to at least make it in. Will it make it in with cookies? I think it will. That's interesting. And what if I ripped, let's see what I have left for this. Oh, it's not long enough, but I could rip some vintage. I could go back in the into the magazine. And find a recipe to rip. I don't really need to keep the teeth. Lollipops is cute though. But I like this lemon leaves and the crown jewels. And look at, I could get both of those in, and then I have I can put my mom's recipe right over that. And how fun is that? I can rip it so that some of the, so I see that, and I see this, and I can ink that. I always have a way of taking something that I say is going to be super simple and making it the opposite. But I think that's the really fun part of doing something like this, is that it just sort of organically grows. You start with an idea that's not fully fleshed out, or at least mine isn't. And then you just sort of keep working on it until it becomes what it becomes. And then if it's something you really like, you can replicate that over and over, and it can be maybe like one of your signature pieces, which I love the idea of too, because it's wonderful to get inspiration from other people, but it's also really great when you have an original idea. And I think this is original, but you know, who knows? Whenever I think I have an original idea, then, you know, it ends up being that somebody else has done it. But I'm going to put a little bit of washi tape here just to sort of bring that in. And yes, you should put glue under washi tape. And I may have to do that at some point, but just for the ease of this video, I am not going to. I'm going to ink this. I have to know where I want it here. I think I want that. I want the cookies to kind of be able to be read there, so that means it's going to be a little bit lower down here. And then this needs to be glued and then folded under the belly band. So back here I have this, and I might just tuck this in like that so that that flap doesn't go over. And I could even just glue that flap down, and I can ink this. Oh, that's not ink. I'm losing my ever-loving mind. Just give this a little edging here. Add to that vintagey feel. You could even add a couple cute little embellishments here, you know, a couple little stickers, or, you know, like something very retro or kitschy. I love that word, kitschy. Let's see. I'm going to put this recipe here, and then I'm going to put my tag here, or I can put my recipe up top and put my tag down here like that, because it is a belly band and things are supposed to stick out. And then on the back side, and I could even put a little paper clip here, like a little holiday paper clip, or a little holiday clothespin. How cute would that be? Remember when I said this was going to be simple? Oh my gosh. It's ridiculous. I cannot I can't make anything simple or short. What can I say? I'm going to add some washi tape, something that's really fun. Oh, I'm going to put something really fun and kind of, I'm going to put maybe the red and green. What do you think? This isn't very thick, this one, but I like the colors. It kind of goes with everything. So I might just put a couple layers on. Let's see if I can line that up. See that? And look at, I can clip the tag like that. That's very cute. And then on the other side, you could include actual recipes. So if you had real recipe cards, you could put recipes inside your journal. If you had a Christmas journal and you wanted to keep recipes, or if this was part of a gift, you could put this inside with the recipe for the gift that you just made. And I kind of love that. I do have my mom's bonbon recipe floating around here somewhere. And I'm actually going to photocopy it and put it on the, you know, glue the front and the back, and I can slide that in there. I can slide a Christmas letter in there. And I think this is where I'm going to stop, because I say that. Let me see if there's anything else I want to add. There's something wrong with me. I just can't stop. I don't know. I don't want snow. But I did remember I had these cute, maybe that's cuter. Is that cuter than my homemade one? I'm asking for a lot of your advice on this one, and you guys aren't helping me. I wish you could talk through the screen at me. I mean, you could add these like little cute like wooden pieces. And I have, oh my gosh, I have these cute jingle. All right, I need to stop. Stop. Just stop. The only thing I want to see is, should I add a little wooden piece? And I do. I have to put one other embellishment on. Then I'm stopping. I promise. Then I am stopping. I don't know. I just needed that little bit on that side. Just because I have to. And I'm going to ask for your help one more time. Is it better to have the handmade washi tape or the already made snowflake? I'm not sure. But that's the fun of it. You can just stick it wherever, add things wherever. I could even, because this is a poinsettia, add the point. All right. I just answered my question. I have this little paper poinsettia, and I am sticking it on top of my already made paper clip, and that works perfect. And I'm good with that. That's it. Done. I'm calling it. Thank you for joining me. I don't know when I'll be back, but I will be back. If you liked this video, please, please, please like it. And I would love for you to subscribe. It really helps my little channel. And I loved spending time with you today. Have a great week, and I will see you later.